Good evening, everyone. Having a good time? Yeah. Be a bit warmer, I suppose, but there you go. I'm from Liverpool, I'm used to it being cold. Not like you soft southerns. Anyway, I'd like to thank Jim for that speech, and I'd like to thank you for welcoming me. Can I just ask you a quick question? Breaking these in for Rachel. Who here is not a member of UKIP? Can you put your hands up? It's not bad.
Try.
About a third.
Try to be, but nobody calls me back.
He will. He'll answer anyway. He answers my calls. Right. That's a very valid point. I'd like to thank those of you, particularly who are not members of the party, for coming here tonight. Your appearance tells us that whatever your political colours, the important thing for us all is the right to forge our own future as an independent sovereign nation. That's all that matters. Now, it reminds me of the words of the Labour leader at the time of the first British application to join the monster that is now the European Union, Hugh Gaitskell. He was originally a supporter of it, but saw through it, and he said at the Labour conference in 1962, October 1962, that membership of it meant the end of Britain as an independent state. I make no apology for repeating it, it means the end of 1,000 years of history. He was right then, and he's right now. Now, this referendum calls for all of us, of whatever political stripe or none, to work together to save our nation. My old school motto was a Latin phrase, non nobis solum sed totae mundo nati. It means not for ourselves alone, but for the whole world where we're born. And this is what, in a larger sense, this referendum is all about. We have a chance, as a nation and as a people, to change the future of the world. Now, if we can, by our own efforts, free our United Kingdom from this anti-democratic megastate, we give hope to people and nations, not just in Europe, but across the whole world. This is a historic opportunity to bring back to the world the values for which the British is justly famous. Values of self-determination, self-reliance, individual responsibility, sovereignty, belonging to the people, and resting in the hands of a directly elected parliament, and respect for individual rights. The values which to this European Union seem to be anathema. Now, I for one feel incredibly honoured to be given a chance to have a small part in this. We must not let this chance slip through our fingers, or our children, our grandchildren, and all those who will follow us will suffer for it. I urge each and every one of you to grasp this opportunity. Go out from this room, speak to all your friends and family, your workmates, the people in the pubs and clubs, your friends at the school gates, your classmates in school and college. There's not that many of you here who are still in school and college, but I'll say it anyway. Tell them about why we should vote for independence. Tell them of how the EU controls almost every aspect of their lives. How the members of Parliament are now almost powerless, as James just said, because of the torrent of legislation teeming from the warren of bureaucrats, officers in Brussels. The laws which do not come from the will of the people, but from the pens of unelected officials in hundreds, if not thousands, of secretly composed committees that are influenced in 1,000 subtle ways and not so subtle ways by the lobbyists that infest that place. It is estimated that there are 30,000 lobbyists in Brussels. Small town, really. Although many of them are not officially registered. Now, these lobbyists and the representatives of multinational corporations sit down all the time with these unelected bureaucrats who make the laws that affect you every day. Whether it's telling the UK if we can deport unwanted foreign criminals, extra mountains of red tape that can crush your small business under its weight, going back to fishing, making a law that allows a single Dutch fishing trawler, the Cornelius Vrolijk, I always get that wrong, to take 23% of the entire English fishing quota, none of which has ever even landed in our country, although it's registered in Hull, or even down to limiting the power in your vacuum cleaner. Now, these are not democratic laws. They are impositions forced upon you and I due to squalid deals made in back rooms by people whose motivations we can only guess at. We, my friends, are in a position to overthrow this in one go. But to do this, we must all pull together, no matter what party we're from. There's going to be plenty of time for pathetic political squabbling when we're free to make our own plans. Now, I was a trade unionist for almost 20 years, and as a young man, I supported the Labour Party. I'm now good friends with David Campbell Bannerman, who those amongst you UKIPers will remember. He's a Conservative MEP who defected from us to them, actually defected from them to us first, though. But with whom I fully expect to share platforms in this campaign. I'm going to stand shoulder to shoulder with anyone who still believes in Britain, because it means more than me, it means more than him, it means more than any single one of us, even UKIP. Now, UKIP are officially supporting the Grassroots Out campaign, as you may have heard. But there are several Leave campaigns, and I'm sure you've heard about all the arguments between them. But you should listen to them all. They've all got valid positions, and they're all very keen to load you down with campaign materials which you can send away for. Take them. Get a mug with Vote Leave or Leave.eu on it, put it on your desk at work. It'll start conversations, and you can be an ambassador for the Free United Kingdom. Go and stand on the street stall. I'm sure Jill and James can give you details of the ones coming up. Hand out leaflets for an hour. Talk to people. They'll be glad to talk to you about it, and you can make new friends. You'll be helping your country, you'll be helping the world. With just an hour or two in the open air, and it is good fun, usually, when it's not lashing down, or windy, or just a bit cold. Finally, I'd like to address this charge of our opponents who try and call us little Englanders. The fact of the matter is, they are the isolationists. We're the people who believe in Europe. I love Italy, Sweden, France, Poland, Spain, even France, yeah. But I want them to be Italy, Sweden, France, Poland or Spain. Not just regions without their own identity and a customs union, whose share of world output has shrunk from 30% to 17% between 1980 and 2015. Now, I believe Greece should be allowed to decide its own economic policy and not be forced to take out massive loans which impoverish their people to pay for the failure of giant French and German banks whose lack of financial rectitude would have made them collapse in an equitable world. Thus encouraging them to make even more reckless choices, safe in the knowledge that the taxpayers of our continent will keep bailing them out. I suppose Iceland, who've refused to join the EU, and who, when the first great crash came along, jailed corrupt bankers and allowed bad banks to fail. Now guess which one of those two is the strongest economy, one of the strongest economies in the world in fact, and which is one of the most badly performing? Greece, who had to sacrifice its people for the bankers, or Iceland, who let bad banks fail? I live in a nation, I want to live in a nation, which makes its own decisions, for good or ill, and if our lawmakers prove to be incompetent, feckless, or even Tony Blair, has the right and ability to sack them and get new ones in. Now, I believe in Britain, and if you do too, please, please, vote Leave, and together we can make Britain great once more. Thank you.